Hey Bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm. Welcome back to my channel. It is now my currently reading vlog week 3. After I gave my last update for week 2, that night, which was Sunday night, I finished listening to Walk on Earth a Stranger on audio, and it was so good, guys. I can't believe my luck, but I think I might have 2 5-star reads already, and it's only like January 15th or 16th when I finished it. Just to give a quick synopsis, if you're not familiar, Walk on Earth a Stranger is basically a historical fiction novel, or it's the first book in a series, and it does have a little bit of a magical element, but mostly it reads like a historical fiction, and it's set during the gold rush time period, which I found really interesting. I thought the author did a really great job with her research and stuff. I learned a lot about that time period while I was reading this book, and I thought the author did a really good job providing representation of how things were during that time period, as far as like racism and like the way Native Americans are treated, as well as the way women are treated. So if you like the trope where a girl dresses up and pretends to be a boy, that happens in this book because the main character has to go cross country during the gold rush, and so she pretends to be a boy so that it's safer for her to travel alone. I found all of that to be really interesting and really well done. If you like when books have like a maid family, so like not, blood relations, but a group of people become family because of spending time together and stuff, that happens in this book, and I thought it was really well done. So I mentioned a little bit of a magical element, and that is the fact that the main character can sense gold, which you can imagine comes really in handy during the gold rush. Also, it was like a really big secret because you can imagine people would want to take advantage of her if they knew. And in that time period, because it's set in the United States, and in that time period having like a magical ability, people wouldn't like that. I love the characters. I love the little family that they created. I really like the book a lot. I think it's just a solid 5 stars for me, even though I don't like to give straight up 5 stars. I can't think of anything that I didn't like about it. And to me, that's a 5-star book. And it's already been, 2 days since I finished it, and I still feel the same way. So that's an awesome update. Oh, do you like my nails? I just painted them yesterday. It's like a new color that I bought. That was unrelated. Other than that, I have been reading the second book in the Incarnate series, which is called Asunder. I don't want to talk too much about the second book because I don't want to give spoilers, but the first book, Incarnate, is basically a fantasy world where everyone who lives in that world has been reincarnated over and over for like thousands and thousands of years, which is actually like a really interesting concept, and it made me think about things that I hadn't really thought about until I read the book. What is it like to live in a world where everybody knows each other for thousands and thousands of years? But that is until the main character, whose name is Anna, is born, and she is a new soul, which is the name of the trilogy, the New Soul trilogy. Anyway, so I really enjoyed the first book, and I recently reread it so that I could finish the series because I never finished it when I first read it, and I'm enjoying the second book. One thing that I think is really interesting about this world is, I mentioned it's a fantasy world because there are like dragons and mythical creatures and stuff, but it's also kind of a sci-fi world because they have a lot of technology. They have these devices that are basically like tablets or cell phones where they can like watch videos and send messages to each other. So there's a lot of like scientific discovery that's been done too. So it's kind of interesting to juxtapose a fantasy world, but one that also has a lot of technology. So I think that is really interesting. I do think that the series is more of a character-focused book series. It's not action-packed, so if you're looking for something that has a lot of action, it's not this. It is more character-focused, but like I said, I think it's really interesting, the perspective that it has. And it took me about to page 80 or 90 before like the hook of the second book happened, where things got really interesting. So I am past that point now. And then my audiobook of the moment is the second book in the Wheel of Time series. It's a long audiobook, so it'll probably keep me busy for a while. I mean, I probably won't finish it before it has to go back to the library, and I'll have to check it out again, etc. So that's my reading update so far. I guess I didn't say this is Tuesday, so 2 days into the week, that's what I got. I'll check in with you guys later. Bye. Good morning, bookworms. It's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm. So it is actually Monday instead of Sunday. I didn't wrap up this currently reading vlog yesterday like I should have, so I'm just gonna wrap it up on Monday instead. My husband was saying it's weird that I end these on Sundays instead of on Saturdays, because Sunday's like the first day of the week, which I guess is true. And I guess my only explanation for why I'm choosing to end them on Sundays is that I typically get more of my reading done over the weekend than during the week, and so it just makes sense in my mind to wrap it up on Sunday so I can talk about all the reading I did over the weekend. But I didn't actually read very much this weekend. I have a new obsession. I mentioned in my last vlog that I was like really excited with my blue nail polish that I had on. No, I've never really been into nail polish like ever, but usually I would just like go get them done maybe once every 3 months. It was like a treat for me. I didn't do them myself very often because I wasn't very good at it and I felt like they didn't last very long. Well, that has all changed. I have a new nail polish obsession, so I changed my colors again. Considering I did them for the first time a week ago on Sunday, in 7 days I had 4 different colors on my hand. Apparently there is a nail polish corner of YouTube, which I shouldn't be surprised because there's like everything on YouTube. But someone introduced me to a nail polish channel, and then I found like 3 or 4 other nail polish channels, and I have just been like binging on nail polish videos, like what are people's favorite colors, and like what are people's favorite brands, and what do you wear in the springtime, what do you wear in the winter, because I'm a total nail polish noob. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what colors are hot, what colors are not. I've been watching a lot of YouTube and learning about the nail polish world, which has been fun, but I haven't gotten much of anything else done. So that was my last like 5 days. I've been watching a lot of nail polish videos. I've been daydreaming about the nail polish I want to buy. Anyways, currently reading. What am I reading? Over the last week, I have continued to listen to The Great Hunt, which is the second book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. Not really having much to say about that. At about like 18% in is when the first big exciting event happened for the second book. This is a reread, and I'm just enjoying seeing these characters that are so familiar to me. This is a series that is one of those that's really good to reread because you like learn so much more about the characters in later books. Like right now, a section that I'm reading, there's like this one person that I know is a bad person, but at this point in the book series she hasn't been revealed as a bad person, so like that's really fun to things from a different perspective, knowing like what her true motivations are when I didn't know them like the very first time that I read the book. That's a really great series to reread. I'm enjoying it. I have continued to read the second book in the New Souls trilogy, which is called Asunder. I'm about halfway through it at this point, and I'm starting to feel it really drag and getting a little bored with it, which isn't good, but I'm going to keep pushing through because I do want to know what happens, and there is like an element of mystery going on, like there's, you know, something that we're trying to figure out and solve, which I don't think we'll actually solve it in this book, at least not the big questions. But then my biggest news is that I have started reading Magic Study. I'm actually like a little more than halfway through it at this point. That's been my main book. I've been doing a buddy read for Magic Study with my friend Shoshana. She read the first book not too long after I had read it because I was raving about it. She'd already wanted to read it, but you know, she read it and really loved it, and so we were both ready to read the second book, so we started reading it. And I'm already like more than halfway through it. This book, it's less like exciting and action-packed than the first one. It is more character-focused, which I think is just, you know, it's really common for second books in a series or a trilogy to be a little more character-focused than have a lot of action. But in this second book, we're meeting like a whole new cast of characters. Well, the main character's the same, and there's a couple overlaps, but a lot of new characters, which is kind of sad and kind of good because, you know, I miss some of the old characters that I loved from the first book. The main romance, like his character is not in the second book, and I really miss him because I totally shipped it and he was so sexy. The second book has taken on a bit of a murder mystery vibe. There's like a murder rapist and they're trying to find him, so that's been kind of interesting in like a fantasy setting, and it's different from what was going on in the first book. I will say that this book probably deserves a trigger warning for like rape and maybe like PTSD because the main character has been raped before, and this was talked about in the first book, but I didn't really mention it. I don't really do a whole lot of trigger warnings, but I probably should. So, I mean, if you have a hard time reading about people who have been raped or some of their the repercussions of it, she does have a little bit of like PTSD and stuff. I like that she has these emotional flashbacks and things because it's more realistic than if she was like perfectly fine. But a little bit of a trigger warning for that, I guess. But I'm really enjoying it, and I'm gonna wrap this video up. So that is what I read during the third week of 2017. I hope you guys are having a good week. That's all I have for now. Until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye!